In the beginning of the process, all we heard, what we knew we had read in the paper, and the only people that we had dealt with at that point were, we noticed a lot of real estate agents in the neighborhood trying to acquire options to purchase properties, and when we asked them what was the nature of the project or why were they there, they said they really didn't know who they were working for.
Good evening. The U.S. Supreme Court today made it a whole lot easier for someone to come in and take your house, take your private property against your will.
This is a great day for the citizens of the City of New London and for all citizens around the United States who live in cities that are economically depressed.
The city wanted to develop a business park, hoping to cure high unemployment by luring in more jobs around a new Pfizer drug research lab.
Lawyer Dana Berliner argues against what these demonstrators call eminent domain abuse. They say the New London Development Commission has no constitutional right to force people to sell their homes for the sake of economic development.
States are going to have to change the law because the public outrage against this is so overwhelming.
I don't think that the Founding Fathers intended that someone should be able to take my property away from me and give it to somebody else so that they can make money on it.
My name is Matthew Derry, and I lived in Fort Trumbull for 50 years, 5 decades.
I took it as a personal affront. We had been there for, you know, more than a century, my family. We had never owed the city any money. We always paid our taxes, paid our water bills. We were law-abiding citizens, and the way I took it, they wanted people that were better than us, and as far as I was concerned, there were no people better than us.
My name is Ernest Hewitt. I'm a former mayor of the City of New London. My present position is I'm a state representative for the City of New London that represents the 39th District in Hartford. Pfizer had a number of places to choose from in the United States where they could relocate their global facility, and they choose New London because the state and the city gave them a tax incentive to move to the City of New London.
You know, it happened so fast that we didn't have a chance to react. When you start thinking about it, the whole philosophy behind eminent domain is morally incorrect. And I can tell you, there's nothing more humiliating than when that sheriff knocks on your door telling you he's going to take away your properties. You will never have a more empty feeling than when that happens.
The City of New London was getting pummeled with brass knuckles in the court of public opinion and by the state of Connecticut. When the state of Connecticut gives you $70 million, puts nothing in writing, of course, and tells you to go out and act as it tells you to act, or it's going to bring your city to its knees, you better pay heed.
The NLDC, New London Development Corporation, which had been dormant for about 20 years, was reconstituted and I think charged with coming up with plans for redeveloping, well, not for redeveloping the Fort Trumbull neighborhood at that point, but rather for trying to lure Pfizer across the river to a brownfield site on Pequot Avenue.
We started putting together a municipal development plan that would encompass the Pfizer being here, and we started out, and no one ever wanted to enact eminent domain. And I can truly tell you that I've been in politics for 12 years, and this is probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, was vote for the use of eminent domain.
They accommodated the Italian Dramatic Club. Everything was supposed to be raised and taken out of there in the initial plan, but when the Italian Dramatic Club, who are pretty well politically connected, like former state Supreme Court Justice Angelo Santaniello was a member of the club. When they exerted their political muscle, they changed the plan so that the IDC could stay.
People, when they first heard the plan, were enthusiastic about it. As we slowly went into trying to put the plan together, there were some people that didn't want to move. So the city had to enact its eminent domain powers, and the state was a huge partner in this plan. They were giving us the money to do this plan.
Well, I think the plan initially was flawed because the rationale behind it was supposed to be an economic development project. I don't think anything that they proposed down there is what's best for that property. And at this point, the thing is so complicated, I don't know that they could get out of it.
Name is Michael Cristofaro. My family was the plaintiffs in the U.S. Supreme Court case, Kelo versus the City of New London. Their idea was, let's let these people sacrifice their homes for the whole community. But during that whole battle, they started seeing the lies. They started seeing that this whole project was basically to take these people's homes and give it to a private developer so that he could profit off of the sweat and equity of their property owners.
Everybody felt that that would be the best thing for New London, and after a 50-year decline, they were hoping that something was going to come and make everything better for everybody, but it was coming at our expense.
My mother and father received a notice of condemnation, is what they call it. And it was a day before Thanksgiving in 2000. And they basically gave my family, if I remember correctly, I think it was 45 days to vacate the property, and that it was being taken by eminent domain.